Good morning, friends. Today, as a continuously that we are discussing about the philosophy, so we are discussing at this moment the Vedanta philosophy, and this will be the second school of Vedanta philosophy, Vishishta Advaita philosophy, the school of Ramanujacharya. So before we start, let us pray to the Lord Vishnu, the God of Ramanujacharya, and according to him, he is the Brahman. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishyadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vidhyanagamyam Bande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. This is the description of the Lord Vishnu. He is the creator and he is the creation. And this is very special way Ramanuja is presenting. Ramanuja was the son of a learned Vedic Brahmin, Asuri Keshava Dikshit. His mother's name was Kantimati. They lived in the village of Sri Perumbudur, 30 miles southwest of present Madras. This pious couple prayed to Parthasarathi for a son, and the Lord said, the Lord Vishnu, I will born as a son to you. So we find the same way the Lord Vishnu is becoming the Sri Rama, and he is the Parthasarathi, that means Krishna, and in the very modern time he again came in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. So this is the Lord Vishnu, who is the creator, preserver, and also the destroyer. So in the year 1017, a child was born, and the father Keshava Dikshita named him Ramanuja, that means brother of Rama, who is Lakshmana, he meant. The Lakshmana is a part of Vishnu. And exactly 1000 years after, we are here discussing about Ramanuja. 1017, it is 2017. So this Ramanuja after 1000 years. At the age of 16, Ramanuja got married, and after the death of his father, their family moved to Kanchipuram. These are all the cities of the southern state. The young Ramanuja wanted to study Vedanta and got admitted in the school of Yadava Prakasha, who was the famous teacher in Vedanta in those days. Ramanuja learned Sanskrit from his learned father. Hence, he was capable to read and understand the Upanishads. He was intelligent enough to analyze and explain verses. But unfortunately, his guru did not like those explanations Ramanuja was devoted and believed in personal God, but Yadav Prakash did not. He was an Advaita Vedantin. So teacher and the student, that was the difference. Yadav Prakash was completely a Vedantin, but the student by birth and inherent that devotion to God was there. Differences widened, and one day Yadav Prakash asked him to leave his school. This was not so easy. It is a long story. Yadav Prakash, he was massaging his master one day, and Yadav Prakash was explaining that the eyes, that the one sloka he was explaining in this way, which brought tears in the eyes of the Ramanuja. And when that tears was falling on the body of the Guru asked, "Why you are crying?" He said, "You have hurt me, sir. Why you were explaining in this way? Is it not in this way?" So that is the Vishnu's, the eyes, that was explained. It is just like Ramanuja was explaining, when the sun rises, the lotus, it open, that is the particular type of eyes they described. So this is the devotional way the Ramanuja was explaining. Yadav Prakash understood it is impossible to teach him the Advaita Vedanta. So he asked him to go away. Ramanuja then moved towards Vaishnavism. It was already there. It is not that Ramanuja started the Vaishnavism, not that the Vishishta Advaita, this concept Ramanuja brought, though it is known as the Ramanuja school, mostly Ramanuja did. We will explain about what is Vishishta Advaita. But he started to love the teachings of Yamunacharya. This is Alvars. In the southern, in particularly in Tamil Nadu, the Alvars, the 12 Alvars, they are completely devoted to Lord Vishnu. And their conception is like Vishishta Advaita conception. Some of the acharyas like Ramanujacharya and others, they gave a wonderful shape, a philosophical shape. That is the reason. Previously, people were not very much aware about the Vishishta Advaita. Advaita, but with a speciality. So, Vishishta Advaita. Vishishta means special. Advaita, non-dual. It is non-dual at the same time dual. So, this what Ramanuja started developing, and he went to the Yamunacharya, the head of the Vaishnava community in Srirangam. In India, this is the speciality, the great masters, they all read Upanishad. Upanishad are the source. Bhagavad Gita. And after reading over those things, they started explaining in their own way. And when they were explaining, so that became a separate schools. The Shankaracharya read the same Upanishads, and he explained different words and the connotations, the meaning in his own way. And he said, there cannot be two, there must be one. Otherwise, everything is breaking down. It cannot be. There must be something which is completely permanent. It can never change. So that was Shankara's way. We will study the Shankara afterwards. We have studied the Dvaitavadi. That Dvaitavadin, they say it can never be. God is completely pure, all powerful, all merciful, all pervading. How God can be the same as the Jiva, the Creator? The Creator and the creation cannot be one. They must be separate. Same Upanishad. So from there, they are reading and explaining. So philosophy and theology, this is the problem. Now when the theology they explain in a different way. So Swami Vivekananda say, you better read Bhagavad Gita first. Try to understand the Bhagavad Gita in your own way. Because all simple meanings are also there. Understand in your own way. Then you go to read the explanation, bhashyas. Bhashya in Sanskrit means explanation. Shankara is giving one way at the explanation. Ramanuja, the same word, he is meaning in a different way. Why it is possible? Because grammar. The Sanskrit grammar is a very unique. So if you change the or, it became different, meaning will be different. So chit or chit, and it's a long sentence. So when you are breaking it, if you add or, it becomes negative, or chit, that means not conscious. And if you remove the or, the a, from that, it becomes conscious. Exactly opposite. So that is the reason these great the masters, they were great thinkers. They dedicated their whole life on that, and they developed the schools and the great followers. And in India, particularly where it developed, and very peculiarly, all were from South India. And the southern part of India, they developed this. The first one, Madhvacharya, he is from Karnataka. And the second that we are reading, Ramanuja, he is from Tamil Nadu. And the third that we'll be reading about the Shankara, he is from Kerala. So they thought in this way, and they developed the school in that fashion, a very strong way, only by changing. So Ramanuja came to Yadaprakash in Srirangam, but unfortunately Yadaprakash wanted him as his disciple. Now I have developed a school. So obviously after me who? So all teachers, they want a very good student so that he can continue. Sri Ramakrishna chosen Swami Vivekananda, so that, and also the other direct disciples. They were there after Sri Ramakrishna, and they lived according to the instructions of Sri Ramakrishna. And their lives proved and showed to the world that this is possible. God can be realized, and through this path. So a philosophy has developed, and a school has developed, Ramakrishna movement. It is basically a Hindu, a Sanatana Dharma. We also read all the three Prasthana Trayas. We also read, and in Ramakrishna Mission, it is in a wonderful way, Vedanta, that is the main school. Advaita is also stretched, but at the same time, our Swamis are there who like to follow Ramanuja, Vishishta Advaita. Of course, I have not heard anyone who is a Dvaitavadi, completely denying that the Jiva can be Shiva, because Swami Vivekananda is telling Jiva is Shiva. The Shiva means the auspicious one, the God. And Jiva means that a humble little being. So how can I be God? That is a mystery, question. Is it possible? But they say, yes, it is possible. So when we will study the Advaita Vedanta, we will think about that, we will hear about that. So this is possible. Now, unfortunately, when Ramanuja reached over there, Yadaprakash passed away. Ramanuja wanted to go, but before that he came back to his own place and he was thinking how to. So these things were going on. And when the call came from Yadaprakash, please come, Ramanuja started walking. In those days only you have to walk. And that is also in the jungle. So you cannot walk in the night time. So when he reached after walking 4 days, he Those who have visited this, our Lemont Hindu temple, if you notice, on the top there will be a sign. It is the Rama temple, but in the sign is 3. There will be 2, and in between they have decorated a red light. In the night it is more visible because it's a light. This 3 means Ramanujacharya school. We follow the Ramanujacharya, like that. So this is the symbol, the 3. 3 are the promises of Ramanuja. So this is the 3. And the previous school, their sign, if you find a person having a mark on his forehead, the 2 like this they will put, and sometimes they make like a V sign. That means they are Dvaitavadin, dual. The God and the individual soul are separate. So this way the separate schools they go. And if you find the mark like straight like this, they are using the bhashma, that is the dust, they will be putting in this way straight. They are the followers of Shiva. That is different type of it goes. And the red mark, the follower of Shakti. Now why Ramanuja in this 3, they were having 2 white mark and 1 red mark? Is the central position will be always red. That is, you were just making 3 lines, that won't do. You have to know it perfectly, otherwise you will be in problem. So you cannot go to the school unless you are having this. These 3 marks, 2 are white. That is the Brahman or the God and the Jiva or the individual soul. But the in between is Sri. Sri means Lakshmi. Sri means Shakti. Sri means Bhu. Sri means Leela. So these are the Shakti of God. So this is Ramanuja. After reaching over there, afterwards he took initiation, Diksha, in the Vaishnava school from Mahapurna. That is another master of the same lineage. Ramanuja lived a very long life of 120 years and passed away in 1137. Ramanuja's greatest contribution is his Sri Bhashya. Sri Bhashya is the explanation of the Brahma Sutras. He also produced 8 other books like Vedanta Shamgraha, Vedanta Sara, Gita Bhashya, etc. They are also famous. The Ramanuja Gita Bhashya, the books is available over here. Sri Bhashya, that is also available in our bookstore. Those who are interested, they can read. And if you read, you will see that one word he is picking up from the original and then explaining in his own way. The philosophy of Ramanuja is the most preeminent among the bhakti schools of Vedanta. And differing the Shankaracharya, Ramanuja said he is not accepting the Shankaracharya view. Ramanuja said unity is not the sublation of all diversity, but the subordination of diversity to unity. This system is called Vishishta Advaita, usually translated as qualified non-dualism, though Vaishnava school do not accept this translation into English. Qualified non-dualism. Dualism means 2, God is separate, I am separate. It is qualified, I am separate, at the same time I am united. How? So that they will explain. Vishishta Advaita is essentially a philosophy of religion. Philosophy of religion. That means it is having the reason, it is having the faith too. So that is what Vishishta Advaita. Ramanuja, you know that those who are attending the classes, you are now aware that anything that you like to explain, you have to explain first how you are judging, explaining, looking at these three things. What is that? First is pratyaksha. You know that one school, they say only one thing I accept, that is pratyaksha, that is direct experience. This perception, direct perception, some of the schools are there, they only accept that. If I can see myself, I will believe. If I can go and touch, I will believe. If I can smell, if I can taste myself, I will believe. Just because somebody else is telling, I won't. Or I am not going to infer. Somebody came and told, maybe 50, 60 people came and told, we ate that sweet. It's so nice, so tasty, so delicious. But no, I am not going to believe unless I get it. So that is called direct knowledge. After experiencing through the five senses, through the eye, through the smell, through the word hearing, through the touch, through the taste. These are the five senses of the human. So if I can get that knowledge, I will accept. Each and every one, they go for that first. That is called the very first pramana. Pramanam, you have to give that proof. How to prove? First is this. Second, anumana. Ramanuja is accepting anumana. Anumana is that there are something is happening again and again, that the classical way they explain, if there is a smoke, there must be fire. And if there is fire, there must be human being, because human being usually create the fire. Of course, in the jungle there will be fire automatically, and sometimes different way the fire starts. So that is the usual form. The human being start the fire, and fire creates smoke. So when I see the smoke, I can infer safely that there is fire. Ramanuja is also accepting this way, and then agama, the shabda, the scripture. The basic stress has been given by Ramanuja on the scripture. And he said, when this great soul they are telling after experiencing, they are not going to cheat you. Why should they should? And that is the reason you should believe them. This moment you cannot understand, but if you believe, then slowly you will understand. So that is called Shabda. These are the three that Ramanuja accepted. And Ramanuja's theory of knowledge, I am entering into the philosophy, the theory of knowledge that stands on three things. The Sanskritized word he used, mostly the alvars, the philosophers of the Vaishnavism, they spoke and wrote in Tamil, the local language. Ramanuja learned Sanskrit, and also he knew Tamil, being a Tamilian, his mother tongue. So he could understand both the languages. So he wrote in Sanskrit because he knew the moment I write in Sanskrit, it reaches out all people. So that way, his theory of knowledge stands on dharma, bhuta, jnana. The terminology he is using. What is the dharma, bhuta, jnana? We will come to explain that. It is the consciousness of the individual soul. Dharma, bhuta, jnana. The dharma means consciousness. Bhuta means the jiva, the soul. The dharma, bhuta, jnana, that is the individual soul. The problem is, whenever we are going to approach any philosophy, they are changing the terminologies. When they are changing the terminology, that becomes completely different way. So this dharma, bhuta, jnana is nothing but the consciousness of the individual soul, through which it comes to know the nature of the external world. Now, if there is no consciousness within us, we have the eyes, we have the hands, we have all the senses and sense organs, and also the human body, but the soul is not there. What will happen? We will call that as a dead body. Though the dead body may be with the open eyes, but it can't see. Something is absent. What is that absent? That is soul. Unless and until this soul is there, nothing can work. I was going on giving lecture, there was no battery. So nothing has been recorded. Though this machine is there, I am also speaking, but there is not recording. Why? The soul was not there. Soul in this case, the battery. So obviously, the human soul is very, very important in this way. So that has been given a terminology used by Ramanuja, Dharma, Bhuta, Jnana. And it says that self and Ishvara are Brahman. The external world we can understand the self, we can understand the Brahman. But Ramanuja all the time, the moment he is using the word Brahman, he is telling Ishvara. But when you will study the Advaita Vedanta of Shankaracharya, he says Ishvara is lower step of the Brahman. So that will come afterwards. So here he says Ishvara and Brahman are same. Both Ishvara and Jiva are eternal and all-pervasive. Ramanuja goes equal with the Vedanta. Both Ishvara and Jiva are eternal and all-pervasive. But now here Vishishta Advaita, special Advaita, the qualified, the qualification is there. What is the qualification? Though they are same, Jiva, the individual soul, and the Ishvara, the God, are same. Both are eternal, they never die, and both are all-pervasive, everywhere. But then Ramanuja says, in Hindi they say Parantu. They will give a big sentence or nice statement. Then afterwards they will say Parantu. Parantu means again opposite they will go because that's called but. Here Ramanuja gave this explanation and then say but. What is that but? It says Jiva, the individual self, due to its karma phala, the karma, the action that we do, because of that, becomes separated from God. So what is the difference between God and the Jiva? The God is free from the karma phala. Jiva is bound by the karma phala. Otherwise, we are same. So this is the only difference. The karma and phala. Whatever work that we do, it binds us. And how we are doing the work? I don't do any work. I sit here quietly. But I am thinking, let that my enemy die. That's a thinking. And that is also as bad as killing. Same type of work I am doing through thought, through action, and also through in different type of way I am doing. So all the karmas are producing result. The Jiva is bound by that. And because of this, they are separated from the God. When the Jiva is purified, it once again gets connected with God. But it never becomes God. It is connected with God. It goes to God. Shankara says it's transformed into that Godhood. Again, it becomes God. Like Shankara gives the example, a drop of water falling from the sky, it falls in that ocean. When it was falling, that drop of water, it was individual soul. It was individual. But when it falls into that water, it is there. Not that existence is lost, but individuality is not there. That drop, tiny drop, has become big ocean. Is a part and parcel of the ocean. Similarly, when the Jiva, Shankara, is a pure Vedanta, they say, when you can purify your mind and soul, your thought, you become God yourself by that way. Ramanuja says no. By purification, you can go to God, near to God, in the association of God. So this is the difference. Now it says, God, according to Ramanuja, is omnipotent. He is the creating the manifold world out of himself by a will. Who is creating this world? God. And the God, how he is creating? Just by will. It is all same. That is here also. Those who are studying the Vedanta, they can understand how the creation came when we were reading the Vedas, original Vedas, long back. So that time we found the Eka Aham Bahushyama Vihi. Eka Aham. Eka means Aham I, Eka one, but I am not liking, I want to get the company. Bahushyama Vihi. I like to be many. Where from I will get the many? So naturally the God created out of himself. So whatever the creation is nothing but through God, by God, and from himself. That is Ekaham Bahushyama Vihi. So this is the way Ramanuja says. In God or Brahman, there are both Achit and also Chit. Achit means unconscious matter and also Chit, the spirit. So consciousness and unconsciousness are both in the God. So this is the special way of the Hindus explaining the creation. The moment you say, who created this universe? Majority of the philosophy will say, God created the universe. How God created the universe? He created with something, this water, this, and these, that, etc., etc. But to create anything, we need one intellectual thing, also the material thing. And in this case, where is the material? Except God, except that consciousness, no material was available. So how he has created out of himself? So this is the unique way. Out of himself he has created the whole universe. Achit is also known as Prakriti, nature, Prakriti, the source of material object. Quoting Shetashatra Upanishad, Ramanuja explained, Mayam tu Prakritim Vitti, Mayim tu Maheshwaram. The Maya, that is the power of God, and Shankara says it is Sri. It is the power of God, associated with God. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also explaining the fire and its burning capacity, they are all one. You cannot take out the burning capacity from the fire. If you take it out, then there is no more fire. The milk and its whiteness is all united. You cannot take out. But sometimes we mix something to make the milk a different color. We mix something, but originally it is white. Similarly, this Visheshana, the adjective that goes with the subject. So that is why this is the special philosophy of Ramanuja called Vishishta Advaita, that how God created these. Shankara here, he said, he didn't create. It's all your imagination. He goes in a little higher way. He said, all your imagination, nothing has been created. So that we will study after, let us complete. I don't know whether we'll be able to complete this Vishishta Advaita today. Is very interesting, and the way he is explaining, he is going against the both, Dvaita and Advaita. He is making an in-between path, and that is accepted by the majority of the people. Millions are accepting this, knowingly or unknowingly. When you go and worship God, we think that we belong to God, Ramanuja theory. But sometimes we don't understand. So Ramanuja is giving this conception of Bhagavan Vishnu. So he explained, Prakriti is a part of God, it is controlled by God. Prakriti is what? Prakriti is the jada, it is achit, unconscious things. And it is a part of God. Obviously, without God, nothing can come. This is a part of God, controlled by God. So this is, as a human body is controlled from within by human soul, then now I am raising my hand. Hand cannot go just out of it. Something, consciousness is there and asking, hey, raise the hand, immediately. Immediately things are happening, and so fast it is happening. I don't know, maybe the computer people, the electronic people, they will be developing that. The moment something comes, immediately so fast everything is, and so many schools and so many offices are there. The moment you see a light, it comes through the eyes, and immediately we comes to, oh, that is a cow, that is a horse. Immediate. But you know, so many offices, tables, if we explain in that way, it is going and touching and getting the information, coming out as a decision. It takes almost no time, that fast. So that is the way it works, this human intellect. But this intellect at the same time is having the inner thing. I am thinking, but this table cannot think. This wood cannot behave like me. Then how can I say me and these are same? So obviously there is a difference. That is what Ramanuja say. There is a difference. Why? It is Prakriti. Achit, unconscious. He is giving the term Prakriti. And how this was possible? Because of the capacity to work. That is called Maya. Who did it? God. God is conscious, intelligent being. And he worked through a power. That power is called Maya. And this Maya is creating both conscious, unconscious. This conscious being is called Chit. Conscious being is Jiva. Unconscious being is Prakriti, Achit. Unconscious. So this is the difference. Ishvara is separate. Brahman is separate. He has created, and after the creation he is looking at it. Acha, let it go, how it is going on. So this is the way it goes, as if. A teacher, he has planned the whole thing. Then afterwards he gives the question paper. He has taught. He has created the question paper. He gives the question paper to the students. Then he will be sitting in one place and watching how they are writing the answer. Similarly, the Ramanuja says, this is the sports, divine sports of God. Why he has done this, all this creation and all the problem. Now, day after tomorrow I am going to South Korea. Most of the people, the moment I said Korea, they never heard the South. Korea? There? I told them it is not North, it is South. So, but anyway, so now immediately things are happening in this way. From India, they are there, you are going to Korea, we heard. But Korea is a great, no, it is not North, it is South. But anyway, so like this it is going on. Immediately we are thinking that what will happen. The Ramanuja is also thinking in this way. He said, see, the God has created these, good and bad. And after the good and bad, he is separate from it. And he is observing. Why observing? Because this is his Leela. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also said in the same tune, he was telling, see, this God has created the human being and the karma phala and all that. The one person said, why he has created this? In the first place, suppose he has not created the human being or any being at all. There is no creation. There is no suffering. Why he has to do all these things? Then Sri Ramakrishna said, this is his divine sports. And as the Jiva who has come, God, God has made small, the parts of the same God. And now the God as a teacher is coming and telling, these are the good things you must follow. These are the bad things you should not do. If you do the bad things, you are going to suffer. If you do the good thing, you are going to enjoy. Then he gives one more thing, that is called ahamkara, and say, decision is yours. They're like when the children are growing up, the parents, they come and say, now we have given you all what we could do, a proper education, proper guidances, whatever possible way we have all said like this. Now it is your life. If you make mistake, it is your suffering. Of course, we will also suffer a little, but it is up to you. And if you are don't making any mistake, then it will be smooth, life will be smooth. Why we are telling? Because from the experience. So God has created this universe out of himself. God has created the good and bad. God had created this unconscious and conscious. And God has created the holy people, the avatara, incarnation of God to teach us what is good and what is bad. And then afterwards, he went out of the court, and from distance he is looking how my children are playing. That is the way the whole life is going on. So this is what Ramanuja says. And during creation, God creates in accordance with the deeds of the soul performed in previous lives before dissolution. This is also a special way of the Hindus. We use usually creation. Creation means something which was not before, now it has come into existence. It is creation. But Hindu says it is projection. It was there before. Now it is projected in this way. So it is projection. The creation and the projection is a lot of difference. Ramanuja is also telling in the same way, God creates. But how he creates? From the previous creation, suppose I do something bad, then I know this creation is going to be ended, everything will be over. Almost all the countries are having some big bombs, and all will be very happy. Let us destroy ourselves, and we'll come back again in the amoeba and start again, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, all are putting the bottom, and then whole world is destroyed, and we are all happy. And few people will come up afterwards, maybe 2 to 3 months afterwards, these leaders. They will be below somewhere and told, we have destroyed all this, now again let us start the play. It won't happen like this. Never. Why? The people have to suffer their bad karmas, and people also enjoy the good karmas. This is the Prakriti. No one can stop it. Nothing will going to happen in that way, complete destruction. But God goes back. God has come out and God goes back. How? Like the projection. When you went to see the movie, that a movie, all these things are coming out, then suddenly they stop that roll, the film, it goes back to film again. Similar fashion, God is creating and withdrawing, and that is called the destruction. The final days of judgment, the Christians, they say, that way, this is not a judgment, it is all goes back to the subtle form. And from the subtle form, again, when you are manifesting, how it will be? God never makes any mistake. And, sir, I was there, and in that way, no, this is not yours, this is all your record is there. And according to the record, you will start from there. So the karma follow in such a way he keeps, no mistake. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is also explaining in a nice way, in his own way. He said that granny, after the harvest is over, she picks up all the different seeds. Some are pumpkin seeds, some are potatoes, some are these and that, and she will preserve it in a separate, small bundle, and separately, and then keep in one box. And such a way it will be preserved. When the next session comes, first rain and all this, immediately granny will start developing those crops. Again, the pumpkin will grow as pumpkin only. If the pumpkin thinks, oh, granny has mixed me with others, in the next life I am not going to be the pumpkin, I am going to be a flower. No, that same pumpkin. Because of the karma phala. That way we have to, the God, he is picking up our karma phalas, putting in somewhere, preserving it, and then finally projecting it, giving it to others. This is the unique way. So, creation, according to Ramanuja, God will, and the undifferentiated subtle matter becomes transformed into three kinds of subtle elements. The first word is God wills, Ichcha. The moment God is thinking, everything is done. I again and again give that example of Jagannatha. In the center of India, there is a state called Odisha. And in that Odisha, there is a wonderful temple, beautiful temple. And the Lord and the God of the temple is Jagannatha. This Jagannatha, Jagan means universe. And Natha is the master, is the master of the universe. And this Jagannatha, the master of the universe, is very peculiar. He is not having any legs. He is not having any hands. Then how he will work? Our God, if he is not having the hand, how will protect us? And our God is not having the leg, how will come to us? But that is the wonderful way they say, they explain, God never works like as we do. He only thinks. The moment he thinks, everything is done. In the Bible we find that Jesus is telling, let there be light. There was light. The creation came in that way. Let there be light. The will of God. Immediately light came. The same way he willed. And when he willed, what happened? Undifferentiated subtle matter, that was from the previous circle, previous creation, it was subtle waiting. Now it takes three forms. First is Teja, Apa, Shiti. Teja means the fire, Apa is the water, and Shiti is the earth. We know the 5 elements out of which everything has come, added with Maruta and Boma. Maruta means the air, and the Boma, the space. And here, now Ramanuja is accepting only 3. One is fire, water, and earth. So Teja, Apa, Shiti, these are the 3 things. And they create this Teja, Apa, and Shiti, 3 qualities, gunas. What is that? Sattva, Raja, Tama. And from that Tama, they get mixed up together and give birth to the gross object. All this gross object that we see is a mixture of these 3 qualities. And these 3 qualities is Sattva, the best quality. The love, respect, and unselfishness, praying for others, all these qualities, how it come? Because of that quality, Sattva quality. When it is more in a person, we call it a holy man. What is the difference between a bad man and a good man? Thought. When he is thinking in a positive way, understanding others, helping others, praying for others, he is a good man, good person. But the good person again becomes bad the moment he is thinking in a different way. Obviously, all thing changes. So this is called Sattva Guna. Then comes Raja Guna. All Indians, all the Hindus, they always know Sattva, Raja, Tama. These three qualities are there. Sattva Guna, Raja Guna and Tama. Tama is the worst. But it is also necessary. To give the shape, it is also necessary the Sattva, Raja and Tama. Mostly Sattva and Raja clubbed together gives a beautiful shape, and that we call holy people. The Raja means activity, the desire. I should go and explain to them. I must have to go and help them. These are all qualities of the Raja. Where from these thoughts are coming? Raja Guna. And when he thinks, I do not know them, but still I should go and help them. That is Sattva. So Sattva and Raja. And Tama, oh, he is in difficulty, let me go and steal all his things. That is Tama Guna. So this is called Sattva, Raja, Tama. It came from this. This process is known as, and again the Sanskrit, Tri-Vid Karana. Tri means three, Vid Karana, mixture. So this three mixture, Trivid Karana, every object in this world is the mixture of these three elements. Ramanuja said the creation is a fact. There is a great difference between Shankara and Ramanuja. Shankara says this creation is an illusion. It has not been created. And he says that the mirage that you see, when you go to a place, particularly in the desert, and you are hungry, you are thirsty, there's no one to help you, suddenly you see that there is a beautiful pond. By the side of the pond there are dead trees, and the camps are there, people are walking, and the camels are there, just establishment. And with great hope you run to that. When you reach over there, you see nothing. Who created that? It's not only water, it's not only a tree. You see everything which you wanted to see. That is called mirage. And this world is a mirage, Shankara said. Ramanuja said, no, this is very much real. The creation is a fact. And the created world is a real, and as real as the creator, Brahman. So, Ramanuja is a Parinamavada. Again, it's another terminology. It's called Parinama, completely transformed. Parinamavada. The world is a transformation, Parinama of Brahman. So, it is real and not illusory. The Ramanuja tried to prove philosophy that dharma, bhuta, jnana, that means the consciousness in the individual. Don't be scared with this big word. Dharma, bhuta, jnana, that is only a heavy word, but means the soul, individual soul. And aprithak siddha visheshana. So all the words he has used. Aprithak siddha visheshana. That means the quality. Visheshana means quality, is inseparable, and that is called aprithak siddha visheshana. It has been decided, it has been taken into care, that is, these qualities are inseparable from the particular object. So that he says dharma, bhuta, jnana, that means the consciousness which is in the being is inseparable from Brahman. Man is rational, is giving the example. The quality of rationality is inseparable from a man. Again, it is not man itself, man himself. So the quality, you cannot take it out. It's a rational. But at the same time, if you say, a person is going, a rational is going, can you say like that? No. So you have to say human being is going. And human being is rational, maybe. So this way, the quality and that particular person are inseparable, but the quality is not the same. Say Ramanuja says, Jivas, individual souls and Prakriti are inseparable from Brahman or Ishvara. They are separate and yet inseparate. This is called Vishishta Advaita. Why separate? Of course they are separate. Because a person is a good person. That goodness is a quality, is not the person. But the person is good, it is associated. At the same time, they are separate. If you say that instead of person I will say good, it won't go. You have to say that such and such person is a good person. So this is called separate at the same time inseparate. And that is Vishishta Advaita. So two words if you can remember, Dharma, Bhuta, Jnana, that is the individual soul, and Aprithak, Siddha, Visheshana, adjective. Aprithak, inseparable adjective. And that is taken into granted. These two things are with the God. And this they say that the Vishishta Advaita believe in three entities. And I will conclude with these three, and the next time again we will go to the details philosophy of it. And very interestingly, Ramanuja establishing this. Three entity. The whole thing that we see are only three. What? First is Brahman or Ishvara. And this Ishvara is absolute and independent reality. This is the quality of the Ishvara. He is absolute. There is no two. No one can challenge him. He is absolute. And at the same time, his independent reality. He is not depending on anything. Independent reality. And he is also having some qualities we will discuss afterwards. Then second entity is coming, that is Jiva. The Jiva, Ramanuja is also using Chit. The Jiva is consciousness. Dharma, Bhuta, Jnana, that consciousness, that's also Jiva. The Jiva is Chit or consciousness. Any Jiva, right from the ant up to the dinosaur, it is having the consciousness. So another is Prakriti. Prakriti is Achit. So in this universe, we see two types of things. One is conscious being, another unconscious being. Swami Vivekananda is giving an example. A small little tiny ant, it was crossing the rail line. And when it was on the rail, a huge train was coming. He felt that immediately it got down, saved itself. It was not crashed. Who is strong? That huge machine that was running, carrying hundreds of people, or the tiny little ant? Ant. Why? It could take the decision, but the machine could not. The machine could not take the decision. It cannot take the decision. But that is the difference between Chit and Achit. Consciousness, unconsciousness. But both are there in this world. So the Chit is called Jiva, and Achit, unconscious being, anything, is called Prakriti. So three entities. One is Brahman or Ishvara or God. Another is conscious but very tiny, that is Jiva. And third is Achit, the Prakriti. Whatever we see is nothing but the Achit. And here Shankara will differ. He will say everything that you see, right from these wooden things, are all consciousness, etc. That we will go afterwards. So we will come to this discussion in the next class. But friends, I won't be able to be here in the 17th, that's the next Sunday, because that time I will be in South Korea. And next again, that afterwards, that another Sunday, I will be giving the Vaishnavism, that the retreat in our Ganges. So I don't think in this month we will be able to meet and discuss. So if possible, remember it, or you can study the Vaishnava, particularly this. And if you come to attend that our retreat, again we will be discussing about the Vaishnava Dharma, where from it came. Obviously Ramanuja will come. So how the Vishnu is creating all these Vaishnava things will come. That will be interesting, I think so. So this is the, and then next month, October, we will meet, we will discuss about. This is the second part of the Vishishta Advaita, the philosophy of Ramanuja school. Thank you very much. Let us say 3 times Shanti, and then we. Om Shanti. 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 Hari